guys, Sarah here. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be talking about beginner makeup. So this is the look I came up with. I'm going to show you how to get this. It's super easy. I'm going to share a few tips along the way. So if you want to see all of that, then keep watching. And if you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of my future videos. All right, let's get into it. I do want to preface this and say that you can skip any of the steps that I mention or use different products or shades or whatever. This is all preference. Makeup is fun. It's meant to be fun. It's not meant to be super stressful or like a chore. So it's just something to enhance your natural beauty. You don't need it. And if you want to wear it and it makes you feel more confident or more beautiful when you're going out, then do it. It's just fun. It washes off at the end of the day and it's a fun way to express yourself. So don't feel pressure to use every product that I use or to do every step or to skip steps that I skip. Like, it's all custom to you. I just want to share a few tips that I've learned along the way. So I hope that it's helpful for you and fun. And yeah, if you have any questions whatsoever, please leave them down below. I'd be more than happy to answer them for you. Or if you have any video requests or just questions in general that I can help create content for you, that would be helpful. I would definitely love to do that. All right, now let's get into it. The first thing you want to put on is a moisturizer. This one is the Origins Ginseng Energy Boosting Gel Moisturizer. And you just want to have some sort of a barrier between your products and your skin. And gel moisturizers are really good if you have acne prone skin or if you get clogged pores really easily. But you definitely, no matter what kind of skin, even if you have really oily skin, you definitely want to have a moisturizer on. I love all of the moisturizers that come in this packaging from Origins. They have so many good options. I also really like the CeraVe moisturizer. For a drugstore option, I think there's also a gel moisturizer from Neutrogena that's supposed to be really good. So there's tons of options. You just have to figure out what's right for your skin. But if you do have acne prone skin or oily skin, I highly recommend looking into a gel moisturizer. The next step is primer, and this is something that if you don't have a primer, you don't have to do primer. It's just something that I like, but I know a lot of people don't use primer, so this is an optional step. And then this is what I'm going to use. This is the Dermalogica Hydro Blur Primer. And this one is really, really good at blurring out enlarged pores, which I have larger pores right in this area. But if you have dry skin, you can get a hydrating primer, which actually this one from Bare Minerals is the Good Hydrations. This is an awesome hydrating primer. There's also primers for redness, for just about any kind of skin condition that you have. Dry skin, oily skin, enlarged pores, redness, anti-aging, like literally anything under the sun that your skin is suffering from. I'm sure there's a primer out there. So you can look into it if that's something you want to start using. I personally don't like to use a ton of different kinds of primers. The only kinds of primers I'll use are either hydrating or pore filling, just because it's going to fill in your pores and then my makeup is going to sit better all day. But if I don't see an actual result from it, then I'm not going to use it. So like a redness primer or something like that is not going to have the nutrients or ingredients in it to make my skin actually less red over time. It's just a fix for the day. And I can use foundation for that, so I don't really see a point in using a primer unless it's going to fix the actual problem over time or fix something that a foundation can't fix. Like a foundation is not going to fill in my pores. So I hope that that makes sense, but I try to eliminate as many products as I can if they're not going to actually do anything for me. For foundation, I am going to be using the Milani Conceal and Perfect 2-in-1 Foundation and Concealer. This is a full coverage concealer and foundation in one. There's also tons of like BB creams or CC creams if you're just getting into makeup and don't know what kind of coverage you would want. I like full coverage just because I do have a lot of acne scars on my face, so I do want to cover those up. I also really love the IT Cosmetics Your Skin But Better CC cream. This is awesome for a daytime coverage. It's pretty full coverage as well. It comes with a pump and I love this stuff. There's also Bare Minerals has a BB cream, and I'll list that one down below. And then I really love the L'Oreal True Match. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. It comes in little glass bottles, and I have a bunch of different shades of them. I've talked about them before, so I'll link those down below. I'll just put a few different options as far as like lighter coverage and, you know, wide range of shades and everything like that, and a few different price points depending on what you're looking for. But today I'm going to be using this one from Milani, and I'm just going to put little spots all over my face, and then we'll blend it all out. And this is less than 1 pump, so you want to use it sparingly. If you put too much product on, you're not going to be able to take it off. You can always add more product, but you can't take product off unless you wash your face. So the easier route is to put on less and then see how it blends out. I'm going to be using my EcoTools sponge. This is my go-to sponge that I use daily. I absolutely love it. And then you just want to pounce this into your skin, and it'll slowly start blending everything together. I also like to take this onto my eyelid and under my eye, just because I'm not going to be using an under eye concealer. And this will kind of cancel out the veins and the redness on my eyelids so that I don't have to put anything else on top of it. Alright, so this is one layer of that, and I think that it looks pretty good. There's just a couple spots right here that I'm just going to put the tiniest bit of extra coverage on. And what you don't want to do is put an entire layer all over your face again, because that's how you end up looking cakey. You just want to put it where you need it. So I just needed a little bit of extra coverage in a few different spots. That's where I placed it, and then I'll just blend it out, and I won't have another layer all over my entire face. For powder, I'm going to be using the Coty Airspun Loose Powder. I've talked about this a million times before, and it doesn't have a great smell, but the smell does dissipate very quickly. So what I do is, it has a little, I forget what it's called, like a separator, so that not all of the powder is open. So what I like to do is just tip it upside down and then flip it back over so that I don't have a ton of product in there. And then I'll just take off the lid. And it's not a screw lid or anything. The thing about loose powder is that it can be very messy. So then I'll just work out of the product that's in the cap. You can see that there's still quite a bit in there, and I'll just put this over to the side. Like, I don't need this. It doesn't need to be like spilling everywhere. So I'll put this to the side, and then I will just take, this is my Real Techniques powder brush, and I'll just dip my brush in there, and then I kind of tap it lightly to get some of the excess off, and then I'll tap it on the side to get more of the excess off. You don't want a lot of powder. It will make your makeup not look good. So then I'll just put this all over, and I put it on lightly because, as you could see, there was a little bit that was kind of like building up over there. You just want a very light wash of powder just to set everything in place and make it so that your makeup doesn't move all day. Moving on to my favorite makeup product, well, one of my favorite makeup products, bronzer. I'm going to be using the Becca Sunlit Bronzer in Capri Coast. This is my absolute favorite bronzer. And the technique that I think is really good to keep in mind is doing a 3 and an E. So you kind of do where the sun would naturally hit you and on your jawline. So on your temples and forehead, and then kind of into the hollows of your cheekbones and on your cheeks, and then down and on the jawline. So it's kind of like a 3 and then an E. I don't know if that was backwards for you or not. But I'm using my EcoTools full powder brush. This is my absolute favorite bronzer brush. I think it's absolutely amazing. So you just want to lightly kind of sweep this into that 3E motion. And this is really going to help warm up your face since you kind of neutralized it with the foundation, and it will bring some life back into your skin. It's also really good to use kind of a big powder brush so that you kind of hit all the areas. It's faster and more efficient that way. And when you're doing your forehead, you want to make sure that you're getting it right into that hairline. You don't want to have a bronzed up forehead and then a line of not bronzed up skin. And when you're doing your cheeks, you are still brushing it all the way back into that hairline. Okay, so from one side to the other, you can see how much warmer and more brought to life this side of my face is than this side is without any bronzer on it. So we're just going to do the same thing on the other side. Moving on to blush, I'm going to be using the Too Faced Love Flush Blush in Baby Love. This is one of my go-to shades. As you can see, I've majorly hit pan, and I'm going to be going in with my Morphe E4 brush. This is a really, really awesome blush brush. I will link it down below along with everything else for you. And then when you're doing your blush, you just want to kind of smile and then hit the apples of your cheeks, like right here, if you're smiling. And then you want to blend it back. So as you could see, I was focusing the majority of the product on the apples of my cheeks, and then I would blend back once. So kind of like really get the product that you want onto the apples, and then just make sure that it's blended back. But you don't want to go in with a heavy hand with blush. As I said before, you can always add more product, but go in very lightly with any of the products that you're using, and then blend it out and add more if you need to add more later. For highlighter, I'm going to take the Tarte highlighter in the shade Stunner. This is what it looks like. This was included, actually the majority of these products were included in my 2017 favorites. So I will link that video up here and also down below in case you want to see all of the products that I absolutely love. But I'm just taking it on this small brush. This is the Luxie 522. I don't know if you can buy this online, but if not, I will find a few other brushes that are similar that I can link for you. So this I'm just going to put on the high points of my cheekbones. You need just the tiniest amount, and you'll just sweep this right on top of your cheekbones. And then I just like to take my ring finger and kind of swirl it into the product. And then I will take it down the center of my nose and then right onto the tip of my nose. And I just do that with my finger. I just think that it's a little bit easier. And then I had it on my ring finger. I'll just take like my middle finger or another finger and kind of blend it out. One of the easiest ways to do eyeliner is to use an eyeshadow for your eyeliner. So I'm going to go in, this is the Tarte Tartelette and Bloom palette. It is my favorite eyeshadow palette. And this is what the colors look like. I will go in with any of these shades. So they are Leader, Activist, and Smoke Show. And all of them are pretty dark. And I'll go in with any of them with a liner brush and just kind of put it right at my lash line, and then I'll just blend it out a little bit. So I think today I'm going to go in with Activist, which is this brown shade, and it's just a really dark brown. So I'll take a little bit of it on my liner brush, and then I'm just going to kind of stamp it on my lash line. And this will make your eyelashes look fuller and kind of just define your eyes a little bit more without doing the work of liquid liner. Okay, so that is super, super easy. And while we're in there, I'm just gonna go in and put a little bit on my lower lash line. I'm not doing it in the waterline. I'm doing it right where the lashes hit, right underneath that. And then once I place the product there, I'm going to take just this tiny smudge brush. This is from Real Techniques. And I'm just going to buff out that lower lash line. Just so that it's not harsh at all and so that the color is really diffused. Now I'm going to go in and curl my lashes before I apply mascara. I'm going to use the L'Oreal Lash Paradise. So when you're curling your lashes, you want to make sure that you're getting kind of at the root, and then you can kind of clamp down, and then you want to move the clamp back and forth, like up and down. This will really help the curl hold. So just do that a couple of times, and then release, and your lashes will be curled. When you're applying mascara, one of my biggest tricks when you start is to get all the way at the root and then wiggle it out so that you're coating the entire lash and not just getting the ends. That's gonna give you a more dramatic and full look. So just hit the root and then wiggle it out. And then we'll do a second coat after this coat dries. So I'm just gonna move to the other eye and do the exact same thing, curl and then put on a coat of this. I always like to wait for my mascara to dry before I do the second coat. So while I'm waiting for that, I'm going to put on this lip balm. This is from Fresh. It is the Sugar Tinted Lip Treatment in the shade Rosé. I love this one. I'm like halfway done with it already, and I'm so sad because I'm gonna have to repurchase this all the time for the rest of my life. But this is the shade, and it's just a really light wash of color, so it's not gonna be this bold, you'll see. You can literally apply this like a lip balm. You don't have to worry about it getting all over. It's so easy, and it's not a super bold pigmented lipstick. It's just a nice tinted balm. This will give a little bit of life into your makeup and kind of look like you're put together, but you can also throw it into your purse and not worry about it. If your lips feel like they're getting dry or it seems like all of it came off, then you can just reapply it, and it's just another tint again. So I really like this. It's worry-free, fuss-free. It's so easy to use. It's nourishing. It has SPF 15 in it, which is amazing for your lips. So this is just one of my absolute all-time favorite lip products, and I think it's so easy to include in an easy makeup tutorial. I'm going to go in with a different mascara for my second coat because after doing the first coat, I realized this is pretty dried out and I need to get rid of it. So I'm just gonna go in with the YSL Shocking. You can definitely use the same mascara. This one is just, I didn't realize how dried out it actually was. So I am just gonna use a different one for my second coat. And I'm just doing the exact same thing, kind of wiggling the wand through my lashes and making sure that every single lash is coated. So that's the difference between 1 and 2 coats. I think that 2 coats is just way more dramatic, but obviously you can skip that step if you don't want to do 2 coats. The last thing I do, and this is totally up to you, is I will just brush up my eyebrows with this eyebrow comb just to make sure that they don't look totally unruly. And a lot of times I will set them with a clear eyebrow gel. So I really like the Milani one, and I really like the Anastasia Beverly Hills one. But if you have sparse brows, then you might want to fill them in. If so, there's a bazillion videos on YouTube that you can look up how to fill in your brows. I usually don't do it. Even if I do a pretty glam look, I might fill them in a little bit. I really like the Benefit Gimme Brow because that's a product that has a little bit of a tint to it, but it's not a full-on like filling in your brows. I just have pretty thick brows on their own, so I don't really feel the need to fill them in. But if you want to and it would make you feel more confident, then definitely do it. It's just one of those things that I personally don't do. That's the fun about makeup, is you get to choose what steps you want to do and kind of customize whatever you do to your own face and taste and what preferences, and then like whatever event you're going to, or if you're just going to school or work or whatever it is. So I just think makeup is so fun, and I hope that this was really helpful for you and maybe it gave you a few pointers. If you have any questions whatsoever, please leave them down below in the comments. I'd be more than happy to answer anything for you. I'm sure there's things that I missed or steps that I wasn't explaining well enough, so please, please, please let me know what I can help you with, or if you have any video requests, leave them down below in the comments as well. Please make sure you give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe before you leave so you don't miss any of my future videos. Thanks so much for watching. Bye guys.